The Ukrainian Defense Forces have successfully used M142 Himars to destroy a Russian BM-27 Uragan missile system. The Land Forces Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said that the missile system was detected by a drone of the Black Forest Brigade. The Russian 220mm rocket launcher was standing near the road and had been loaded with ammunition. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone followed it and then guided the artillery fire. To destroy it, the Ukrainians used an American Himars rocket launcher, which fired one shell. The GMLRS shell fell a few meters further away from the Uragan, but it was enough to hit the unit with debris. The debris caused the missile system to catch fire and malfunction. Modern American Himars, MLRS, are better than Uragan in terms of guidance, range, accuracy, and reloading. The main difference is that the Grad or Uragan multiple launch rocket systems have uncontrolled and inaccurate projectiles that scatter over a large area, while the long-range American Himars have highly accurate missiles with a GPS guidance system. Technology and precision make it possible to cope with enemy targets faster than the massiveness and uncontrollability of Soviet systems. Recently, it became known that new missiles of reduced caliber are planned for Himars. To this end, Anduril will develop a new 4.75-inch, 120.65 millimeters, solid rocket engine for long-range precision rocket artillery at the request of the U.S. Army. Soldiers from Ukraine's 13th Operational Brigade of the National Guard, known as Kartia, captured a Russian soldier using an FPV drone, the brigade's press service reported. In a video published by the unit, a Russian serviceman is seen spotting the approaching FPV drone. He discards his weapon and signals his intent to surrender. Kartia members then remotely guided him out of the tree line using the drone. Surveillance was later taken over by a Mavic drone, which continued to monitor the surrender. This is not the first time Russian soldiers have surrendered to Ukrainian drones. The brigade noted that soldiers typically respond to DJI Mavic drones or similar models, not FPV drones, making this case unusual. A similar incident occurred in 2024 on the Kharkiv front line. Kartia soldiers located a wounded Russian soldier abandoned by his unit. A Ukrainian drone dropped water and a note with surrender instructions. The drone pilot then directed the soldier to safety, where Ukrainian forces captured and treated him. The captured soldier was given water, received medical aid, and was evacuated in an Oncilla armored vehicle. He was later sent to a detention center for enemy combatants and eventually exchanged for a Ukrainian prisoner of war. The National Guard of Ukraine has since expanded the Kartia Brigade into a full corps, consisting of 5 brigades: 3rd Operational Brigade Spartan, 4th Operational Brigade Rubij, 13th Operational Brigade Kartia, 17th Poltava Brigade Raid, 18th Slovyansk Brigade. These units continue to play an active role in Ukraine's defense against Russian forces. Trump on war. If one side complicates things, we'll say, "You're fools, you're terrible people," and we'll just walk away.
If for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say, "You're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people," and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that. Now, Marco is right in saying it. We want to see it end.
Asked if Russia's playing him, Trump said, "Nobody's playing me. I'm trying to help. This is Biden's war."
Do you think Russia's playing you?
No, nobody's playing me. I'm trying to help. This was Biden's war, by the way. By me getting involved, they'll say, "Oh, it's Trump." This is not Trump's war. This is Biden. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay? Think of it.
Russia has offered the United States to fight Eurofascism together. The Foreign Intelligence Service published an article about European fascism. It is about fascism in Britain and France, which Washington and Moscow allegedly opposed together in the international arena. The article says that Hitler's German regime borrowed the idea of concentration camps and the practice of genocide from the British. British liberal imperialism is a more resilient and from this even more destructive force than fascism because it has ideological elasticity, the ability to distort facts, conceal realities, and adapt to new conditions in a favorable way, the article states. The SVR added that Britain, in every possible way encourages the Kiev regime, which praises the Punishers who fought on Hitler's side, the Banderite executioners, and today itself commits numerous crimes against humanity. The press service of the ministry thus led to the hope of a new unification of efforts between Moscow and Washington, capable of preventing the world from sliding into a new global conflict, and of countering possible provocations by both Ukraine and the mad Europeans traditionally encouraged by Great Britain. These are the ideas fed to the Russians today, but unfortunately, this is also where the perception of the US stands today under Trump and Vance. And more to that. The US voted against the UN resolution on the cooperation between the UN and the Council of Europe, where several paragraphs referred to Russian aggression against Ukraine. According to Jonathan Schreier, acting representative of the US on the Economic and Social Council of the UN, one of the reasons is that this resolution repeats statements as to the Russia-Ukraine war that the United States considers unhelpful in advancing the cause of peace. The resolution was also not supported by Russia, Belarus, Mali, Congo, Eritrea, Nicaragua, Niger, and Sudan. China and Iran abstained.
Maintaining international peace and security, including through the peaceful settlement of disputes, is the primary goal for which the United Nations was created. The current resolution repeats statements as to the Russia-Ukraine war that the United States considers unhelpful in advancing the cause of peace. We are confident the durable resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war is of greatest importance to members of the Council of Europe, as it is to the United States. We hope the Council of Europe and all UN member states will support and reinforce efforts to achieve a comprehensive and lasting peace between Russia and Ukraine.
The Ukrainian military uses the Techno-Taurus interceptor drone to shoot down Russian reconnaissance UAVs. The Serhiy Prytula Charity Foundation, which contributed to its development, told Militarny about some of the drone's characteristics. The purpose of the drone is to deprive the Russian invaders of the ability to conduct reconnaissance using drones. The drone manufacturer is not disclosed due to security reasons. The Foundation's involvement was to advise the manufacturer on an effective tether that would be able to operate on the front line, where there are many enemy electronic warfare devices, as well as to find optimal solutions for components and test prototypes directly in the army. Our goal is to close the eyes of the Russians to the maximum extent possible, wherever we can. Now we have an effective solution. We see that the number of requests for this product is very high, says Andriy Shuvalov, director of the Serhiy Prytula Charity Foundation.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.